This is the continuation of Calculus 1.3 notes, and you were asked to try to finish this problem on your own because it's really similar to the one we did in class. A little typo right here, this accidentally said f of f. If you want to make that say f of g so that they kind of match up then when you plug in a number. So now we're flipping to the back of your notes, okay, and I've color coded it. We have this g of x function, which is the absolute value, this f of x function, which is a parabola, and then down here it shows kind of some points, some locations. So when x is -2, the parabola is at 0, and the absolute value is at 2. So that's kind of just showing some points. So let's kind of do what we talked about before on this past example. f plus g of 1 is equal to f of 1 plus g of 1. So what's the function of f at 1 is 3, and the g function at 1 is 1. So all you do is 3 plus 1, so you get 4. Okay, I'll do one more with you, and then you guys try to finish the rest. So then f minus g of 0, we know is f of 0 minus g of 0, following the rules that we learned. So the function f at 0 is 4, and the function g at 0 is 0. So 4 minus 0 is 4. So you try to finish these two problems based on what we learned about those rules. And finally, the last part of your notes is kind of scrunched a little bit, but we got it to fit. These are called composite functions, and I bet you have learned about these before, but maybe it's been a little bit of time. But you read this as g of f, that little circle there, you just say of. G of f of x means the same thing as g of f of x. I like this so much better. It kind of helps my brain figure it out. And then when you do this, you kind of want to work from, you would do the f of x function first, and then you would plug it into the g of x function. So hopefully this will make sense with a couple of example problems. So here, f of x is the square root of x minus 4, and g of x is 2 over x. So find f of g of 2. Well, I would write it f of g of 2. I'm going to color code this a little bit. So right now we're going to ignore the f. We're just going to write it down, and we're going to plug 2 into the g function. So if you found g of 2 by itself, I mean, that should be pretty easy to do in your head, right? It's just going to be 2 divided by 2, which is 1. So the answer for g of 2 is the number 1. So I don't need to write g again. I plugged a 2 into g, and I got an answer of 1. And then now I'm going to do f of 1. So now I'm going to plug 1 into this f function, and that's going to be undefined because it's going to be the square root of -3, and you can write undefined if you want. I'm just out of room. Okay, so let's try this one. Now the g is written first. We're going to do g of f of 5. So the first thing I'm going to do is plug a 5 into the f function. So f of 5 is pretty easy. It's just going to be the square root of 5 minus 4, so that equals 1. The answer to f of 5 is 1. I'm going to bring down my g and now do g of 1. Well, g of 1 is just going to be, you plug 1 into the g function, 2 divided by g, 2 divided by 1 is just 2. So your answer is just 2. Okay, for the third one, it is okay that we have g written twice. That's okay. g of -1. So we're going to start by plugging in a -1 into the g function. So 2 divided by -1 is -2. So the answer to this right here is -2. I'm going to bring down that. And then the answer to this is -2, meaning now I need to plug -2 into the g equation. So 2 divided by -2 is -1. And then finally at the very bottom, it kind of got cut off. So if you want to use another piece of paper, you can. Or if you write really small, you can make this fit. So what got cut off here, you have this at the bottom of your paper, but then all you need to write at the bottom is A and B, and you guys can see on my notes, I got them to fit right here, so you can make them fit as well. So question A is find G of F. Oh, and I have that written, I have it backwards on mine. That's okay. We're gonna do G of F first because that's what it says here. So this time we're not plugging in any numbers, we're just plugging in the functions. So we can rewrite this as G of F of X. So step one is we're gonna plug in F of X right there. So I'm gonna leave my G here, and then in place of F of X, I'm gonna write what F of X is. Square root of X minus 1. So now we have to plug square root of X minus 1 into the G function. So my final step is I'm gonna replace my X with radical X minus 1. So our answer is gonna be 2 times radical X minus 1 plus 5. So all I did is I replaced the X with radical X minus 1. And you can't really simplify that at all. That's just your answer. Now let's do the opposite thing here. We're gonna do F of G of X. So step one, plug in G of X, which is 2x plus 5. And now I'm going to bring down this f. Now I'm going to plug in 2x plus 5 into the f function in place of x. So instead of writing radical x minus 1, I'm going to write radical 2x plus 5 minus 1. And we can make that look a little bit nicer, radical 2x plus 4. And that's your final answer for that one. So good luck with finishing the notes. You do not need to do any book homework. Just finish the ones that were blank on the notes. And I will see you on Thursday.